What's up, everyone? Welcome to Know Your Balls. I'm Jack Mannis, and with me, once again, Robbie Williams. Robbie, how you doing on this fine, what's today, Wednesday evening?
Yeah, I'm doing good, dude. Happy to be talking about sports. I'm ready to start our little segment here called Hot Takes.
Yeah, I don't think we have like an actual name for it yet, right? I think it's still in the works.
Yeah, under construction.
Yeah, it's under construction. If any of our listeners have any fun ideas for a way to have a segment on hot takes that doesn't interfere with any other podcast intellectual property, please feel free to let us know. And yeah, you were saying some storms up there in Michigan? How's that treating you?
Oh yeah, they're done for now, but we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain the next couple days. So hopefully my basement doesn't flood.
Yeah, I feel like I tossed over a little bit of a Portland weather your way. Not that we have storms, but we definitely usually get rain. But now it's like, I don't know, 80-something, 90-something degrees, sunny, beautiful. It's the magical 3 months a year in Oregon that we have. But anyways, let's get right to it. Just want to remind everyone that we're going to have a new upload schedule for the podcast. We're going to be releasing a new episode every Monday and every Friday henceforth. So although we are recording today on a Wednesday, you'll be listening on a Friday. So maybe some of our takes and stuff will just be completely useless by then. Nonetheless, here we are. But yeah, stay tuned every Monday and Friday for a new episode to drop. All right, Robbie, like you mentioned, a new segment.
Hit you with it? Hit you with my crazy idea. Now, this is an unpopular opinion according to the newly released NFL Power Rankings, specifically the NFC Power Rankings. I definitely agree with the top one. Who could argue with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being up there? But I do believe that the Los Angeles Rams, and I've said this before, are going to be the bust of the NFC West. I think there's a lot of good teams out there, and I got a feeling about it. That's all I have to say about it. They lost some key supporting roles on defense, and I never really liked what I saw from that team before. They have a way of kind of building you up just to let you down, Buttercup. But it's kind of fitting that Matt Stafford went there because they've kind of done the same thing the Lions have done, just gone a little bit further with it. They remind me of the Atlanta Falcons. You really think every year, and then no, I don't see it happening.
I don't know if that smell is like the chicken burrito I just made or a little bit of bitterness about the departure of Matt Stafford from your Giants, but it's one of the two. And
the Giants and the Lions.
Lions, excuse me. Wow.
Jeez. Yeah. Not excused. That's a big one.
Heat exhaustion. Yeah. But, that is quite a hot take. It's quite steamy. I mean, you have Cam Akers in that backfield who a lot of people are very high on. And Matt Stafford has always been a very good, not great quarterback. And the whole knock on him, if you've been a pro Matt Stafford guy, is he just hasn't quite had the right pieces around him. So you don't think that those pieces exist for him out in Los Angeles after his departure from the Lions?
Yeah, I mean, your offense is only going to do so much. They've got a great defense too, but I don't see their defense being the same thing it was last year. And I think that's key to their success. And I don't think that they're three-headed monster of a running game where nobody knows who's going to get the ball from game to game. At least last year, that's the way it was. I just don't think that they're going to be able to. I'm not saying they're going to be a total bust in the whole league. To clarify my statement, they are going to be the bust of the NFC West. Everybody thinks they're going to be on top of the NFC West. I'm taking San Francisco to be a good battle between Seattle and Arizona for number 2. Most likely Arizona. I think I always like to root for Seattle, but they've just been kind of dropping off here. So that's my hot take, is I don't get why everybody's up on the Rams just because Matt Stafford went there. And Matt Stafford, great quarterback. I'm not going to use the word good. I'm going to use great because, he's consistently thrown for over like 4,000 yards a season. If that's just off the top of my head from watching years of Lions football. I mean, the guy, his main problem is he has a tendency to throw untimely interceptions because the team is just weighing so heavily on his back that he ends up forcing throws and stuff like that. So what he really needed more than anything was to go to a team that has an established, amazing running game to support his throwing. But instead, he went to another offensive situation that's probably going to completely rely on his arm. And that's where he always ran into his trouble. So that's, I think, a better summarization of my take.
Yeah. Well, that is a hot take. And, we'll just have to see next season what happens with your boy Matt Stafford out there in LA. But for my hot take, of course you do.
I really will be rooting for him.
You have no choice.
With the Lions for too long, it's like, having a curse or something. It's just, you can't do anything.
Look, as a Chargers fan, I will tell you, having the whole team on your back and throwing untimely interceptions, I think we've called that Phillip Rivers syndrome for quite some time now. Anyways, sticking with quarterbacks, I have a hot take for you, Robbie. My hot take,
hit me with it,
is that Tua Tagovailoa will not be a starting quarterback in the NFL after next season, if he even lasts the full season. And
who do you think is going to take over for him middle of the season?
I'm not sure who's going to take over for him, but all we saw leading up and through the draft process was Tua has this big arm, he has this accurate arm, and he's going to light up the NFL. Now, granted, he had that insane injury where like parts of his pelvis broke that I didn't know exist. So give credit where credit's due for him rehabbing and coming back. But man, I think I have some stats up right now. So The average passer rating last season was around a 93.6. Tua's passer rating, on the other hand, last season was an 87.1. Where are some other things like QBR, for example, another stat to kind of exemplify why I think he's not the answer. 52.5 average QBR for Tua Tagovailoa last year. Not very good. I also don't know that I saw that man throw that many deep balls, and that was his big thing coming out of Alabama, was his deep ball accuracy. And I just didn't see it. And, neither did Miami when he was getting benched throughout the latter half of the season. Now, was that to protect him? Was that because he was playing bad? Probably a bit of both. But my hot take, and I've said this to all of my friends, and when I'm right, I will just bask in the glory of my correct predictions. But Tua will not be a starting quarterback in the NFL after next season. What's your thought on that one?
I think more quarterbacks miss in the NFL than hit when it comes to drafting high and all this hype that goes around people because this player could change your franchise. They get hyped, and more often than not, they do not live up to that hype. So I would say you're actually predicting, you're betting with the odds here, for sure. But I also didn't see anything last season that would beg me to argue with you. Because, he looked good, but also, it was, like you said, there was none of that deep ball stuff. It was kind of these little dips and dunks right on the 20-yard line where he was throwing his touchdown passes. So,
and a lot of them were Mike Gesicki was totally bailing him out of a lot of passes too, right? It wasn't, he wasn't even great on those, little dishes in the midfield. Mike Gesicki had like 15,000 one-handed catches last year because Tua couldn't put it on him. So, we'll see what happens. But, I think we've both presented some respectable hot takes here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NBA. Game 1, the NBA Finals between the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks happened last night. CP3 absolutely went off once again. 0 points in the first quarter, finished with 32 points and 9 dimes in his first finals game ever, like the true point god he is. Then we had Devin Booker also putting up, I think, 27 points, 27 and 9, I believe, 27, 6 and 2 for Book. And then we had DeAndre Ayton with 22 and 19 being Mr. Efficient again. Now, we didn't have the campaign sighting that we wanted, that we all truly deep down wanted. But the big three-headed monster of Phoenix really came through. Giannis, how he came back, but he did. He did.
Well, on Giannis, I just want to say to all of our fans, you could thank us for him playing in that game, because we talked so much about how he wouldn't play in that game and how he wouldn't be anywhere near 100%. I know they ended up losing, but Giannis had some pretty good plays where he looked at 100%. He had a Tayshaun Prince-esque block at some point. I can't remember when it happened, but
not a LeBron James-esque block, a Tayshaun Prince-esque block, of course.
Who did it first?
Yeah.
Who did it first? That's all I have to say.
Yeah. No one's ever made a block before Tayshaun Prince. No one's
not like that. Not like that. Yeah. Run down.
The chase down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right, though. Giannis came out, and there were points in time where my man's looked 100%. He played 35 minutes. He had 27 points. He had 17 boards. He looked pretty good. What are your thoughts on this series now that we have Giannis back, who has, little bouts of him looking like his old self? I know on our last podcast, you were Mr. Suns in 4. And I was Mr. Well, even without Giannis, there's probably a chance it goes 5. But now Giannis showed himself in game 1. Where do you think this series goes?
Well, he showed himself and they still lost. So I say Suns in 3 at this point, if it could happen. They had a slight lead about midway through the first quarter, I think. And then it was just absolute Suns domination from there on out. They never really made it interesting. That's all I got to say about it. It's kind of exactly what I expected. Just that point where, like, you keep the game on. You don't walk away from the game. But every time you look back at the game, you're like, oh, they're still down by 15 points. I'll start watching when it gets close to 10, maybe. To
be fair, I think at the end of the fourth quarter, there's like 2 minutes left. And they cut the lead to 8 or 9. And I was like, ooh. This could get
just
spicy.
Enough to keep you watching those commercials, right?
Oh, good. Thank you for bringing that up. I think the biggest travesty of this game, especially as somebody who wants this to be an interesting series, and the Bucks not coming back to win this game, is that America is batting triple zeros in terms of winning a free taco from Taco Bell with the new Flamin' Hot Taco, because whatever team comes back in the second half to win a game, America wins. America wins because we get a free Doritos Locos Taco, the Flamin' Hot Doritos Locos Taco. Okay. And we didn't get that opportunity. What's it? It's a shame.
Like I said before, I hope I'm wrong about how boring this NBA Finals is going to be, but I didn't see anything in game 1 to change my mind, but I would like a Doritos Locos Taco, so maybe the Suns can come from behind after the Bucks make it interesting in game 2.
There you go. So not even Giannis getting a little more time to rehab. That's not something that even enters the equation for you, or does it, but it doesn't change the outcome.
How much is he rehabbing in one day between playing 35 minutes and then, I'm guessing playing another 35 tomorrow?
He managed to come back, so it's working, right? So maybe something could happen in that day that although we are doctors, of course, we still have no idea what's going on. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Game 2 tomorrow. You got the Suns winning that, I'm guessing.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind.
I feel like you need to meet the Suns in 4 guy. I feel like you're the same person now. Your brains are one.
That guy they're throwing after parties with that guy is like the headliner, and like he's not like an entertainer, he's just like at the party, and they're like, come to the party with the Suns and 4 guy. Like I saw flyers on the internet, like what a life. That stuff's hilarious, right? Like you just get into a fight at a playoff game, next thing you know, you are like the number 1 fan.
Of course. Being 5'6", I'll never have such a privilege. Anyways, so that's the NBA coverage we got. Stick around for our coverage of Game 2 coming at you next Monday. Now, I know that you're not the biggest baseball fan, but
Not
the
lately.
MLB All-Star rosters just got released. And I can understand your lack of fandom being up there and, in Tiger Country. It's got to be rough.
I bet I can name a few, even though I might be able to name a few in the teams they play on. Would you flatter me for a second? Let me
Yes.
myself.
Of course. Yeah, let me pull up the list. And okay, go for it.
You ready? Okay.
Yep.
Fernando Tatis Jr. That's a name I hear a lot. He's got to be an all-star.
Oh, he
right?
is. Yes.
He's been doing some crazy stuff. I've seen some highlights. And he
Very
plays for
you're gonna kill me with
San
this one.
Diego Padres.
Good.
He does?
Yes, he does indeed.
Dude.
Okay. All right. You have to get 3. You have to get 3. So 2 more.
Okay. Well, Clayton Kershaw's got to be like one of the pitchers, right? Like he's Matt Stafford's best friend from elementary school or
If
something.
they bring that
Little
up
League
one
together.
more time, my brain might explode.
Yeah, they bring it up every time. I
Kershaw,
especially now they're both in LA.
Kershaw is not an all-star in 2021. In fact, he's on the injured list with forearm tightness as of today. Okay, well, you can't get 3 now. You've already lost on 1. I was hoping for you to bat 1,000. Pun totally intended here. Some of the highlights of the MLB All-Stars is we got Jacob deGrom, who's setting all of these records this season especially in terms of ERA. I think just yesterday, my man's ERA got above like 1.1. He's fighting all-time ERA title right now. So he's doing his thing out there for the Mets. We also got Shohei Ohtani, the arguable frontrunner of my Angels for the MVP, for the AL MVP. My man's has
that guy's amazing.
bombs.
I was thinking of him, but I couldn't pronounce his name.
He
was in my head. I've seen him a lot, and he blows my mind as a two-way player. Because I don't think I've ever seen anyone play like that in the modern era.
And Shohei Ohtani just hit his 32nd home run today, breaking Hideki Matsui's record, which was 31 home runs by a Japanese-born player in a single season. But he did it over 162 games, and Shohei broke his record in 81 games. So Shohei's doing his thing down there in LA for my Angels. We got DeGrom doing his thing out in New York. So that's kind of the highlights of the MLB All-Star selections. And next week, all the MLB All-Star festivities are happening. And I know how excited you must be, Robbie, as a huge MLB fan. So we'll keep a look at
I'll watch the home run derby,
which Shohei is competing in as well. So, and he's
going to pitch in it too.
He's going to pitch in the game, hit in the game, and hit in the home run derby. So he's doing it all as he has all season. Yeah, he's very, very Ruthian in his approach to the game. It's fantastic to watch. Moving on. Speaking of
before he rocks up the plate too.
Smoking cigarettes. I would love that.
Right.
So I know we talked about those commercials we were watching during the finals of the Doritos Locos Tacos and how America is so disappointed in the Milwaukee Bucks right now. But another commercial that we kept seeing was all the advertisements for Aaron Rodgers and Bryson DeChambeau against Tom Brady and 6-time major winner Phil Mickelson in the match, the 4th rendition of the match. Aaron Rodgers, in his MVP mind, managed to focus. And he was like, I know Robbie Williams really is rooting for me here. I need to sink this putt. And he sunk the match winner. And
what else is new? Rodgers did some crazy stuff at the end of the game.
Aaron Rodgers winning. Aaron Rodgers winning. Just an old American pastime at this point. So this may be kind of a far leap here. But do you think that means anything, or we can see and read into any of this in terms of Aaron Rodgers' future? Because I don't know if you saw these videos, but a lot of the announcers, Charles Barkley included, they were all poking and prodding at Aaron Rodgers, try to get him to leak any information about whether or not he's going to be a Packer next season. And he deflected and made some jokes about Tom Brady coming back next season, etc. But he was still doing his old thing of being cool, calm, and collected, playing mind games with his opponents, etc. He's doing his thing out there. What do you think, this all kind of says about Rodgers? Personally, I think we see the same Aaron Rodgers as we've always seen. But I think the bigger question is, do you think his deflection of the questions that he was being asked kind of makes one think maybe he won't be a Packer next season? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think he said it multiple times. Like, he's not going to do it. Like, I think he's made abundantly clear that he has no interest in playing for that organization anymore. And it's just a matter of when they're going to figure it out and try to trade him or something. I mean, that's my understanding of the saga up until this point, is that he was saying in private, there's no way. That got leaked. And he never said anything to defy those leaks. So, I mean, I've just been assuming, I know Packers fans don't want to accept the inevitable, but like, I think Aaron Rodgers has been done. And he played an amazing season last season. And he's, sinking game-winning putts, and he is in some type of Zen mode where he just kind of doesn't care about anything, I think. And he's just like, I'm the dude, and I can do whatever I want because I'm the dude. And like, I think that's what Aaron Rodgers thinks in his head. Like,
and it seems like he can, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
are you gonna argue with him? Yeah.
No, of course not. I would never argue with him. I mean, the guy also noted some mental health struggles he was having off the field as well, and talked about how this break has kind of been good for him. So I'm glad that that's happening for him off the field as well. But there's some teams that have been brought up as potential landing spots right now for Rodgers next season. Now, Green Bay is still the favorite because, I'm sure Matt LaFleur is still treating this like this breakup that he's having, and he's so sad, and he just wants his sweet, sweet boy back. But he might not get him back, but that's still kind of the favorite right now, is for Rodgers to land back in Green Bay. We also have the next best odds as Rodgers landing in Denver as a Bronco. Then we got him landing in Vegas as a Raider. We have him going to New Orleans as a Saints, which would be so funny to see Saints fans have to root for Aaron Rodgers. I would love to see that. And then we also, and the last highest odds for Aaron Rodgers to land is in Washington. Now, I think Denver would be an amazing landing spot for him. I think their receiving core is awesome. They have an established running game with Melvin Gordon, who can pass catch. Not that he necessarily needs that. Jerry Jeudy is amazing, and I think having somebody who can actually throw him the ball would be a fantastic thing. And their defense is proven season after season to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. So what are your thoughts on some of those teams as potential alternative landing spots for Aaron Rodgers outside of the Packers?
I don't really see Las Vegas, just because, Derek Carr isn't like anything special, but also like, he's not doing bad. And then
he's an average quarterback
goes. Yeah. And their game isn't throwing the ball really anyways. Their game is kind of run it down your throat, and then throw off of that. So, and I don't really like New Orleans either, just because I just don't see them. I just don't see them taking that. I just don't see him fitting in there. I think they've got, they've been keeping a good organization running for quite a while right now, and it's because of good team building, and they don't just go out and just bring in whatever the big name on the market is right now. So, but Washington now, they've just got Ryan Fitzpatrick hanging around, which, like, I love the beard, but, and I think he's going to do great there. But also, you throw Aaron Rodgers into that mix, and it's a whole nother ball game with that team and that defense. And they've got, what's their running back's name? Something Gibson.
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, he was doing pretty good last year. And I think if you throw a great quarterback on that team, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have fun with that team, but Aaron Rodgers would have a lot more fun with that team. But I also agree with you about Denver. So Denver and Washington are definitely my picks here.
Yeah, and also let's not sleep on Nola right now with famous Jameis getting that LASIK eye surgery. That man's going to throw 60 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, take it to the bank, book it right now. Over under 59.5 touchdowns from Jameis. Just smash the over. It's happening. He's breaking all the records next season. No, he's definitely not. So I'm glad that we had that Aaron Rodgers discussion. It's always spicy in the NFL. Always, 100% of the time. It's fantastic. So moving on.
Yep.
So sticking with the NFL. So we have a player, Cameron Kinley, who was a former player at Navy, who's team captain at Navy. And originally, he signed as an undrafted free agent with the Bucs. But the defense secretary, the acting Navy secretary, Thomas Harker, initially denied his request to try out for the team and to stick around with them in minicamp back in May. Well, apparently his grievances were heard, and the defense secretary, Lloyd Austin, allowed him to attend Bucs training camp. And Kinley, I think he's a cornerback, and he was at Navy. Good player, from what I've read. This is just a good story, right? There's not much else to it. This is just good for him. I think this is a great thing to happen in the NFL. I'm interested to see how the narratives overlap with all the anthem stuff happening now that we have this, kind of front page news with the guy coming out of Navy and, the federal government actually having to get involved in allowing this guy to play. Yeah. That might be interesting. But what do you think about this? Is it just a feel-good story?
I mean, it's definitely a feel-good story. I just don't understand why they ever stopped the poor guy from, it's not like we're fighting a world war or anything, all hands on deck. I mean, if you got one sailor out of, I don't know how many people are in the United States Navy who could probably have done whatever job they needed him to do, let him play some football for a few years and then come back. I mean, geez, I'm glad the new secretary got his senses together, but I don't know what that old guy was doing.
Well, I think the difference is what guy who originally denied his request was the Navy secretary. And now the defense secretary is the one who said,
I get what you're saying. He jumped the chain of command.
Chain of command. Yeah.
Pretty important.
Exactly. Yeah. From all of our military prowess, I think we can agree on that. But yeah, good for him. We'll see what happens. See if he makes it onto the squad. Good for Cameron Kinley. Happy for the guy. Yep. Now, one more. I don't know. Is this a big story with N'Keal Harry requesting a trade out of New Orleans? He was the first round pick in 2019. Has done, I don't know, next to nothing for them. He has 45 receptions, 414 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. Now, to me, when I read that line, and I think since 2019 those are his numbers. To me, I read that and I'm like, oh, that's like 3 games from Davante Adams. Yeah. Not in terms of the receptions, but in terms of all the other.
Davante Adams has Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball, and N'Keal Henry has Cam Newton throwing him the ball, and Cam Newton's running most of the time. So, I mean, I think that kind of accounts a little bit for some of those low numbers. Is you're just not really on the.
Let's keep in mind. Let's keep in mind, TB12 was there for his rookie season, and this guy, N'Keal Harry, was.
How Tom Brady is about his wide receivers. I mean, that guy is pretty hard on his wide receivers. I've seen him yelling at them on the bench plenty of times. And if he loses trust in you, especially a rookie, you drop a pass or two, you're not getting the ball. So, I mean, even then with Tom Brady, Tom Brady's very selective about who he's going to throw the ball to and who he trusts in certain situations. So, I still think that accounts for some of that.
Totally fair. Nonetheless, even take it from a personal perspective as a Giants fan. Not a Giants fan. Why do I keep doing this? As a Lions fan. This is the second time that this has happened to me today. Jeez. As a Lions fan, do you think that you would be happy if somehow, after your awful draft that you had this past season, that you would see that the Lions traded for N'Keal Harry and you would be happy about it?
You say awful draft? Are my headphones working? Is Penei Sewell just not a good pick? What? I think we had a great draft. I think we did everything we needed to do, and I also think N'Keal Henry would be a great pickup. I think we've definitely managed to not waste our draft picks on all high-end receivers and managed to fill in a good squad from around the NFL.
I'm the biggest Penei Sewell fan out there. I'm an Oregon guy. He's an Oregon guy. He's a future Hall of Famer already in my book. I love Penei. Don't get me wrong. But N'Keal Harry, he's a big dude. I remember when he played against Oregon when he was at ASU, he's a big man. So he's a big target. And, he's definitely a red zone threat if he's in the right situation. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. They have a pretty crowded receiving room as it is now, especially including those new tight ends and Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. What are you going to do with N'Keal Harry now? It's so crowded there.
I'm sorry, what? Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are on the Lions now? I don't think that's
no.
Am I totally out of it?
No, I'm saying on the Pats. So I'm saying,
oh yeah, he's got to leave the Pats. They don't need him. Yeah, okay. I was like,
crowded. No way.
Okay. The Lions aren't crowded. We could use them.
Right. What I was saying is, let's back up here for a second, is that the Pats have all these guys. N'Keal Harry has this upside as a red zone threat. But regardless, they have all these other dudes that can outperform him, and Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. I think Nelson Aguilar is there too now. So it's too crowded of a receiving room. He should get out. They should get what they can for him. They have everything they need. So get him out of New Orleans. Or New England. I'm going to lose my mind. Get him out of New England. Yeah, do something.
Jersey, New Hampshire.
One of them. Mm-hmm. Just get him off the Pats is the point. Get him off. They have what they need. All right. Well, another new segment to end our show, as if me messing up the locations of various NFL teams was not enough of a blooper segment. I think we're doing well on adding to the podcast, giving it a little more spice by including one of our own blooper segments. And Robbie, I think this was your idea, so I don't know if you want to take the lead on this one.
Well, I'm not the best with baseball, but I can spot a pretty dumb play when I see one. Let's see. We've got the Toronto Blue Jays playing the Miami. The hell are they called?
The Marlins.
The Marlins. I knew it was a fish, but I was like Miami swordfish. The sharks. Maybe
I'm all for the Miami swordfish.
Like, I knew it was something. A marlin looks a lot like a swordfish, right? They've got I don't know. Anyways, Miami and Toronto are playing a game. And, some guy in Toronto hits a terrible hit. It's foul ball. But it rolls slightly. Basically the catcher just waits for it to hit the line, thinking he's being smart and he's going to catch the guy, like, not running very fast. But the batter, like a good baseball player, ran full speed ahead from the time he made contact with the ball and got to first perfectly safe just because this catcher didn't pick up the ball before the ball went fair. And it was just an absolute, knucklehead play. Where, he's trying to be smart and he just outthinks himself.
He looked like he plays for the Miami Marlins is what happened here. That was awful. I can appreciate the fact that even in your self-professed lack of baseball knowledge, you can still spot idiocy when you see it. So,
I know the rules. I don't know all the players, but I know the rules of baseball. And you got to cap that ball before it gets back in there.
Before it hits the line.
Before it passes, one of the base pads.
Yeah.
Right.
Jeez.
It has time to come back in, but once it passes the base pads, then it can't come back in. It can't just roll in.
I'm allowed to mess up on the podcast. I'm allowed to mess up team names because I'm not paid millions of dollars to be the professional to know how to do my job perfectly without any errors. My man literally made an error, and he is getting paid millions of dollars. And Jesus, just the dumbest mistake.
Yep.
Well, Robbie, I think that wraps it up for our Friday edition of Know Your Balls being recorded on a Wednesday. anything else that you'd like to tell the Know Your Balls stands out there?
Field those
Any
balls
messages
before they go.
Yeah. I'm sure he's an avid listener. So
Know your
shout
balls,
out.
field your balls, shave your balls, whatever you got to do. Clean it up.
Yeah, clean yourself up in some way.
Clean yourself up, man.
Figure it out. All right. Well, thank you guys again for listening. We appreciate it. All right. And shout out to Tonique. Check us out on all of our socials and make sure to check out all of our articles on latonique.news. Thanks everyone again for listening and have a fantastic weekend.